Hello, my dear friends. My name is Blanca Jimenez. I'm Mexican, and I have the pleasure to be here and share with you an experience that I really would like to encourage your faith in Jesus Christ, especially for those who are struggling in their lives right now with any disease. I would like to tell you that for 5 years, I'm living in Bulgaria. I married a Bulgarian missionary, and I went to live to Bulgaria with him 5 years ago. And it's been a very interesting experience being there in Bulgaria. With him, and for the first 3 years, really I enjoyed it so much. I didn't have time to get depressed. His family is amazing. Then I enjoyed so much his country. But you know that pandemic came, and it was very, very hard time for us, especially because my father-in-law, the man who I really love so much as a father, died 2 years ago. In 2020, he died, and it was a very sad moment to me. Then after this, I realized that all the magic that we experience in a new place with new people went out already. The new life I had caused me so much stress because new language, new people, different mindset, and I didn't know the way I was handling this. It was affecting me in long term. I will tell you, for those who are sick and are maybe dealing with some immune disease, for example, or any issues of health after COVID, I will tell you what happened to me in December 2020 and 21. You know, I was having for 1 year experiencing little depressed because after my father-in-law died, I wanted so much to go to Mexico, but in our economy, familiar economy, it was building the finances, the economy of our family. It was not possible in that moment to go to Mexico. Then I realized that it would take maybe 1 or 2 years to really go to see my family. I started to miss them, and I started to see the reality around me, and I started to have some issues in my marriage with my husband, and I'd get depressed, and I started to eat in a lot of disorder. I started to eat like 7 times per day, eating chips, food that it was intoxicating my body in long term. Then that year, it was 2021. 2021 was one of the worst years in our country. COVID already was devastating the community. So many people died because of that. Hospitals were in crisis. And I didn't help my body to resist COVID. The first year in 2020, I was keeping all the health laws, law of health that God gave us to be healthy and resist any disease. And first time, this COVID came to us, and it was like nothing. But the second time in December, the 2021, we went with my husband to Hungary, and we get there COVID. Then I didn't realize in this moment that all the year that I was eating very bad, making compromises with my diet, and eating whatever I wanted, prepare the environment of my body to COVID make a disaster in my life. That time, I was eating so spicy that no, I don't know if who can really endure levels of that spicy. I really was eating every day, and I was feeling like, oh, spicy reminds me of my country, so I will eat. It doesn't matter if it hurts me. And for 1 year, I was happy to eat so spicy. Then, in 2021, my stomach was already so damaged that I started to have ulcers. Then, at the same time, COVID came in my life for second time. So in December the 2021, I started to see in my body some hematomas in Hungary. But I didn't give so much importance because after 2 weeks, disappeared. But when we came back to Bulgaria, in December 31st, I wake up in the morning one day, and I saw that I have some marks, some black spots in my mouth. I felt like when you will have an herpes, and you have little big lip, and I felt that it was uncomfortable, and I went to see to the mirror, and and you will see, I don't know if you can see in the picture, that one hematoma, black thing was in my mouth, in my lip. And I was so scared, and I opened my mouth, and I have a bigger one inside of my mouth, black spot, but it was a hematoma. And I was a little scared, and I wake up my husband 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., and I wake up my husband, Amor, I told him, do you see what I have? And he said, oh, what is that? I don't know. And wow, please take a picture. And I was so scared. What was that? It was very horrible. And I told him, take me a picture. I will send it to my friends in Mexico. We were living in Bulgaria and already came back from Hungary from our vacation. And then he took a picture, and I sent to my 2 friends that they could answer me. I have good friends, and they're doctors. And I sent it to them, and one of them answered me right away and said, oh, this is serious, but I cannot give you a diagnostic until you go to the labs and make this certain blood test. He gave me the name of the test and said, go sleep, try to sleep, calm down, be relaxed. In the morning, go and take this test. I went Friday, 31st of December in 2021 to the lab, and after 1 hour came back for the results. The women in the lab told me very seriously, you have to go to the hospital right away. You have thrombocytopenia purpura. Wow. what is that? But she scared me because she said, this is an emergency. You have to go to a hospital. But we lived in one small town. We don't live in a big city, so there is not big hospitals in this town. So they said, you have to travel 2 hours from 2 different cities, big cities, who has these doctors, hematologist, I think. So she said, or go to the capital, to Sofia, is 4 hours driving. Wow, I was like, is that serious? Yes, it's so serious. She gave me my papers, and I went home, and I talked to my husband, and I told him the result. But in that time, he was writing a book, compilation of Ellen G. White, and that speaks about the health reform for the people of God for this last date of the history, and the method of God for healing his people. So he was learning that God has a method to heal the people in this time. And he told me, well, I think we can start using natural remedies. And then he called a friend who was working, a doctor who is a conventional doctor, but he was working now in a health center in Romania. So that he talked to him and explained all my situation, my blood test results, and he told him that this disease can be healed with natural remedies. It was not necessary to go to the hospital, especially I was being in a situation with depression, and I knowing that this situation is so serious, it was so serious, and I could die, I said, I'm not going to die in a hospital alone without my family. So I said, no, I will stay here. If I have to die, I will die at home. I don't want to go there and have a sad end. So I decided to trust what my husband said about remedies and all these methods of Christ, of God, for his people. So being missionary for 4 years in Bulgaria, I think my faith needed to go in another level. But I didn't know how, what level it would reach. Then, because I needed to trust in God even if I die. So my husband encouraged me to trust in this, because he read it, that it was a promises of God. So will we trust in God in this situation? And I was so afraid. I usually really believe in science and medicine, but lately I was reading and watching some documentaries about how the medicine it's taking really now different way than the medicine needed to have in days before, when doctors, pharmacy, they were engaged to save people. Now it's not the same story. So I was so afraid, to really die in a hospital, and I decided to trust in God. And my husband was next to me, helping me. So I started to receive indications what to do, some smoothies, some teas that will deflate my body. Then, I started to do it. That was on Friday. On Sabbath, I saw that I have more hematomas in my body, and my arms, and my legs, and everywhere. I felt like I looked like a banana, a ripe banana. when my test said that my platelets were in level 6, when the minimal to be normal is 150, I was on 6. So I didn't have enough platelets to clothe my blood, and they were making hematomas everywhere inside of me. I have this inside of me full of hematomas. It was so hard to even pass saliva. And all this year that I was eating a lot of spicy, and especially coming from Hungary, I bought one very strong salsa, very picante, very spicy, that it was so dangerous, because 2 weeks I was eating so much. I abused, and they made ulcers inside of me, and I was bleeding inside, because when you have this problem, you should not have any wound, because your blood will go out and you will have hemorrhagia and could be out of blood. So I started to bleed inside of me. So the situation was a little bit worse, and the doctor said, it's okay, don't worry, don't enter in panic, you will heal, just be calm and trust God and do what you have to do. And well, I was a little calm for a while, but I realized too that my period will come. It was about the time to have my period. That will be the end, because if I had my period, it will come like river, and I will be out of blood. Then I called my friend from Mexico, and I said to him, I'm afraid that my period will come. And if he said, well, this is very dangerous. If your period comes, you will be almost without solution. You have to go to a hospital. You can prevent this. Go, and they will put you corticosteroids just one time, just to avoid that there's something happen with your period, until you get stable with your platelets. But I talked to my husband, and the doctor said, listen, if you go to the hospital, you will not come back home. This is real. You will get infected, and you will have COVID or something, but you will not come back home. So I was so afraid, and I said, well, we decided to trust God. It seems like we are stubborn, and our family was kind of disappointed and very mad at us, because we were so irresponsible, because I will die if I don't go to a hospital. But we said, well, a hospital, doctors can do things, but the owner of the God can heal me. We can trust him and see that really, really it works for anyone, any situation, any disease, even if the doctors think you're crazy for this time. So we decided to not go to the hospital and keep going. But on Sunday, really my period came. And it was kind of strong. I was bleeding a lot. But this Sunday, I was laying down, and in one point I was kind of stable and bleeding everywhere, but kind of stable, If I was calm, quiet, it would be kind of okay. But on Monday, the situation became very worse. On Monday, I had in my bed, next to my bed, the bed of my dog sleeping next to me, and when I wanted to go to the bathroom, I fall down. And that made things worse because I started to bleed a lot inside of my stomach, and because the period, wow, it was horrible. It was horrible to see how I was bleeding like crazy. And now it was already so dark with dots everywhere, hematomas everywhere. So I entered in panic. But my husband saw the situation, and he called to the director of the health center, the medical missionary school where we were working before that year. And he told him, you know what? There is in the health center in this moment one doctor who helped so much my wife in very hard situation. So maybe you can call her and see if she can help you. Then my husband called her, and he explained her the situation. And she said, okay, you have to come here. She had experience with a person with my disease. It was a man, and he healed in 4 days of treatment with her. So I had a hope. So I was bleeding so much. So she explained him. Put her in water with ice and sit her with the feet out with warm water in the feet in order the blood go to the arms and legs, and she can have this area cold and she cannot bleed a lot. So she can travel 2 hours to the health center in Bulgaria. But for God's providence, there was in December one camp meeting, and the camp meeting finished 31st of December. For 1st of June 2022, everything was empty. The doctor was there, and she would stay 3 more weeks. And one of her therapists will be with her, remained to make paperwork. So there was one therapist, a doctor, and all the sanatorium empty, ready to receive me. So my husband did everything what the doctor said, and he accommodated the car in order me to travel. But I was so weak, so much pain, and it was hard just for me. I couldn't walk, They carried me to the car, put me in everything, but it was hard trip. I was feeling even one stone that the car passed through, and I was bleeding every movement and so much pain. But I pray to God, please help me, Lord. Help me to get there, and help me to sleep, to not feel any pain. And in one moment I went to sleep, and when I wake up, we were already in the health center. They opened the door, they were waiting for me, and they put me in one room, and right away make the same procedure with water with ice and to stop the bleeding. And in that moment, I felt so much like I wanted to vomit, and I vomit a lot of black coagulated blood. It smelled horrible, but after this, I felt relief. And then since that moment, I feel like I was feeling better. So, but I was still bleeding. So they gave me one tea with pomegranate peels. That was helping me it would help me to stop the bleeding, because pomegranate is helping so much on this. So they were giving me by spoon, because it was having hematomas inside that even hurt me to pass my own saliva. So they were giving me by spoon. Then that Monday I was kind of stable. On Tuesday, I was very weak, but I was looking like okay for the doctor and for everyone. And then they say to my husband, she can be here, you can go to the city and buy some supplies we need for her to make the treatments to recover. So he went there, but that Tuesday, I really was very, very weak. I was laying down, in one moment, I felt like I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't move my arms, nothing. Then I felt like I wanted to go to sleep, right? And I felt so much relaxed. And when the therapist entered to the room, she talked to me and I didn't answer. She checked my pulse and she went out of the room and she went to call to the doctor. So the doctor, the assistant of doctor came, but because I was not opening my eyes, he started to tell me, Blanca, Blanca, Blanca. And they wake me up and they went to call the doctor because they saw my condition. So I couldn't move anything, just my eyes, not even my head. And I was feeling so relaxed. So when the doctor entered and checked my pulse, she went right away outside. And then she went to call my husband to tell him that I was dying. My husband came back from the city. Well, the story of what he experienced, you can see it in another version of this testimony, but he really was in shock and very stressful moment because he was told that I would die. So the doctor went to call her husband, and her husband entered in the room and told me that what is my condition, I would die, explained me my situation, and told me, but Blanca, we prepare everything for you to be anointed. So, and I explained what it means this. So based on James 5:6 in the Bible, I understood, and I said, okay, I will receive this anointing. I was barely speaking. So when they went, they said, we called already the pastor, so he's coming here. But we want to call the ambulance. So because it's hard for you to die here, we will be responsible. And they told me to sign a paper that makes me responsible for my death, not the health center, because I decided to be there, right? They were not responsible. So they wanted to call an ambulance, and they were discussing if do it or not. Anyways, the pastor was coming to do this procedure. And when I understood this, I prayed to God. He said, it's the moment I said to myself to make passes with God and make in order my life. So I talked to God sincerely and deeply and said, forgive me, God, for taking the wrong decisions that brought me to this situation, to not endure the diseases that are affecting the world, because I'm doing the same habits, the same lifestyle they're practicing. I'm sorry, and forgive me for many things that I asked him. Then I was ready. Then entered the pastor. Then entered my husband. Then entered all the team that was taking care of me. 5 people, they were inside. And the pastor entered, and he was so serious, so calm. When he entered, I felt this calmness, and I felt so good. I remember, and he explained me the procedure, what it means. So I said, okay, Blanca, talk to God and ask for forgiveness. And I said, I did it, okay? and then let's pray. So before praying, I said, but I want to ask for forgiveness in this moment to my husband, to Dr. Olia and Artyom, her husband, who in one point of my life, that year, I was being so mean to them. They came to work with me, with us in the team of the school, and we really kicked them out with our attitude, very rebellious attitude. Not, they came to teach the health reform, all the laws that God wants to prepare, to give to the people, to prepare new people, young people in this medical ministry, medical missioner trainings, to be missioners with these natural remedies and the law of health. And we really were not agree with respect all the laws. So I just asked them for forgiveness, and they forgave me. Then after that, they said, "We forgive you." Then I was ready. I was so in peace with God, and I experienced in this moment such a peace that I said, "God, please forgive me, Lord, all this, but this peace that I experience now is the most beautiful thing I ever experienced in my life." And when the pastor said to me, "You pray first," I said to God, "God, it's so beautiful what I feel, that if you want to heal me and give me another opportunity, thank you, Father. Give me another opportunity. But this, I don't want to lose this, what I feel now, this peace, this joy, that if I would lost it, I prefer to die now. But if you want to give me an opportunity, please heal me, and I will work for you. I will live for you." And then I finished. "If not, Father, I'm ready. I'm happy if you want to take me." Then finished my prayer, and I started to relax and relax. Then the pastor prayed for me, and I was not even listening. I enter in a statement of relax, and I was getting in a deep sleep. And I felt how in a moment my breath was being holding, because I was not dead, but I was not really alive. I was not breathing. So, but I remember when the pastor said amen, and he put one cold oil in my front head. I was closing my eyes, and I felt how something entered in my body from head to toes. I feel like electrical touch in my body. And after not moving, I opened my eyes, and I told him, I'm alive, but with energy. And I noticed I could move my hands. I noticed that I could move my legs, and I started to move like I have nothing. My pain here stopped. No more pain here. And everybody realized that God made a miracle with my life. He gave me back the life. He gave me this opportunity. And after that, really, I started. Everybody was amazed. But everybody realized that God gave me an opportunity. And then they started to give me procedures, natural remedies, and I recovered my health after several procedures, and I made really 40 days of raw food, but not at the first time. I tried 3 times and I failed 3 times, and the 4th time I made it and I get healed. But it was a very big fight for me to do these procedures, engage with, make 40 days of raw food. It's very hard, but the price after this, it was my health that I recovered. And I understood that God gave me this opportunity and made me this miracle, not completely taking my hematomas the first day, but he wanted me to learn how to come back to the original plan, to change my lifestyle and everything. So I'm glad that today, 1 year after, God gave me my completely recover without not even 1 drop of medicine. And I think really I can prove with my own life that God's methods, it works if you trust him till the end. Till the end, and we are really repented and change the course of your life for God's, to respect and obey God's law, you will receive your health. This is really my testimony, not about my life, but about the power of life in my life. And I'm growing. I'm not ready for heaven yet. I'm in my way. I'm growing every day, learning and fighting with this flesh that need to die. I need to die to myself. And I hope this part of my testimony of life, because all my life is a testimony of the care of God, but this part of my testimony can encourage you to trust God 100%, that one day the medicine maybe not have the answer for your disease, but God has it and want to heal you, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. So God bless you, and I hope you can trust God and your faith can grow more every day.